So, happy Easter. All over the world today, people celebrate our Creator and Jesus Christ. We celebrate that beautiful spiritual awakening that Jesus brought to the planet and that we've held in our hearts for 2,000 years. Jesus brought an energy that connected us with God beyond the rules and beyond what the world knew at that time. A world of spirit opened for mankind that told them they were not measured by their earthly values, but they were measured by their hearts and their spirit. Can you imagine bringing such a powerful message of spirit to the planet? Spirit was more important than matter. Spirit created matter. God is spirit. You are spirit. You are eternal. God is spirit. You are spirit. You are eternal. Spirit is more important than matter. You are more important than matter. How well have we done in the last 2,000 years?
Working on it.
We're working on it. But even in our own mind and thoughts, we know that there are still layers of maybe being able to accept the idea on one aspect and maybe not able to accept it in another aspect. But Jesus Christ accepted it totally. He lived it. He breathed it. He knew it. He was it. He knew spirit created matter. He was a being in an earthly body who knew spirit created matter. And so the ultimate demonstration that he could give to the limited thoughts of mankind was to allow his body to be publicly killed and then to resurrect a body, one that could eat, one that could disappear, one that mankind could see, to show them that he was speaking the truth. Man is spirit, and spirit creates matter. And the race consciousness couldn't comprehend it totally at that time. But what a powerful demonstration to leave us with. So every Easter we come to celebrate that demonstration. And over the years I've been asked by people, well, if Jesus did that, why don't we do it? And I say, we will, when we get it. When we get it on every level, we will. And then they will ask, why was he the only one? And I will say he wasn't. The first begotten Son, the only begotten, translates actually to the first begotten. He was the first child of God, the first of the race to realize he was child of God, but not the only. And many histories of many different cultures tell us that there are others that have followed his example. We just don't know about them in our culture. He was the first to realize he was Son of God and to demonstrate that. So, because we're working on this body, mind, and spirit, what I wanted to do was to talk with you on all three levels, all right? So I want to talk with your mind first. I want to intellectualize with you. So I'm using the help of Charles Fillmore, co-founder of the Unity Movement. And this is from Keep It True Lent. You ready? Open your brains. All right. Keep It True Lent. When the Adam race reached a point in their evolution where they began to think and act independently of the Christ mind, independently of God, the sense consciousness began to rule and degeneration of the whole man followed. We got caught and forgot God and we started to disintegrate as a race. The loss of the ability to draw constantly on God as source threw the whole race into an anemic condition. We started to atrophy. Our spiritual awareness began to atrophy as a whole in our whole universe. New life had to be imparted. A blood transfusion was imperative. Christ then began a series of physical incarnations beginning prehistorically and ending with his Jesus incarnation. You've ever wondered why they say he's faced every single temptation you faced? He faced everything that you faced. over time and in every situation, rose to spirit, Christ in. All right. Because of the gulf between the mind of being and the sense mind of race, no life flow was possible. Think with me. Because of the gulf between the love of God and the limited perception of man, it was difficult for the flow to occur. And you know that when you're talking with someone who doesn't want to hear you, there's nothing you can do. That's the gulf we're talking about on a race level. Then Christ, in the flesh through Jesus, offered his body as a life or electrical transformer. The atomic units of his body were sown as points of light on our mind and body atmosphere, so that anyone who concentrates his thoughts on Christ in faith will attract as a spiritual magnet one or many of his body atoms. These Christ atoms, appropriated by the individual, become food and drink and form the nucleus of a regenerated body for the person appropriating them. Are your minds overwhelmed? Okay. What this says is, I'll make it Cindy language for you. Charles Fillmore enlightens us, and remember, he was looking at science from the turn of the last century, where science was beginning to understand that the cells of the body regenerate. And one life form on this planet, we actually leave the cells of our body in the atmosphere. That's Deepak Chopra scientists' information of today. So to have a man go through the death, burial, resurrection, and ascension process, he left a pattern of energy in the earth that we could all appropriate if we asked. That's basically what that says. So are your minds excited now? Yes. Okay. So, how do we intellectualize this energy to infuse it into our bodies? They said this morning, every great teacher leaves a foundation of thought. Every great teacher leaves a foundation of thought. And then the people that are left behind deal with that thought accordingly. But Jesus did more than that. He left a foundation of energy. Energy of the body, energy of the experience of living one with God, energy of the resurrection to know that spirit creates matter. That's a pretty different foundation. This is a foundation that's kept us connected with God for 2,000 years. Take a breath. Now we're going to talk about the physical aspect of it. Mind's okay? All right. When Jesus came, his style was gentle. His teaching was always very gentle. He always included everybody. You know, when he healed, he never said, "What faith are you? And what country do you come from?" He saw every single person as a child of God. When he taught, he didn't create societies that you had to be a member of to come in. He taught to everyone who would listen. He was so open to bringing this message to the entire earth. Often he prayed alone. He would separate himself from the people and he would go to his source. Jesus never lived sourcing himself with the world around him. Do you understand what I mean by that? He went always to God to feed him. We, in our day and time, still source in our outer world, do we not? We look at our partner and we say, "Am I okay? How are you guys doing with the service? Are you following me? Do you see? I'm sourcing now to you. Do you want me to say something different over here? Then I will do that. Now I'm sourcing to you." Do you understand? Rather than letting God source our lives, we still look to the outer. How am I doing? How am I doing? And Jesus never did that. He gave freely to all, but he always went back to God. And often alone. He would pull away and go back to his own spirit. Remember, he's teaching us the path to follow.